So back in the mid-'80s, right, Rob and I got married in '84. Most of you weren't born, blah, 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 right? But Rob and I were living in Lexington, Kentucky. We had 2 little babies at our house, and I was trying to figure out the whole pastor thing. All right? I didn't want to be a pastor. I lost a bet with God, and here I am. All right, so anyway, so I'm trying to figure out, I'm not doing it right all the time, and I'd only come back to the Lord just a few years before this, so my faith and my spiritual, walk was kind of immature, but it was growing, all right? I was trying to figure it out. I did the best I could. Now, back in the 80s, again, some of you were there, and you went through this with that, with that whole decade, and some of you heard about it, and some of you don't know what I'm talking about, but back in the 80s, if you'll remember, the issue of abortion, hang on, all right, was being widely discussed and debated, not just in politics, but in every church you walked into. It was like in every sermon, no matter what church you went into. And churches polarized on the subject of abortion. And it almost became a litmus test about if you were a real Christian or not based on where you landed on this one subject. We don't care what you believe about Jesus or about God or about how a person is saved or not, but where do you land on the issue of abortion? Now, it was a big deal, really, really big deal. Within the Christian world, within the church, all right, there was a movement of Christians who felt so convicted about the subject that they would go and they would stand outside of abortion clinics. Remember this? All right? And they would sing and they would pray. And sometimes they would passively sit or lay down in front of the door of the clinic with the hopes that the patient would change their mind and turn around and go home and not have the abortion. Some crazy Christians, all right, took it to a whole nother level, and they would stand outside these clinics and they would scream mean, hateful things at these girls, calling them horrible names, holding up these horrific pictures. And then the really crazy said, let's just blow up the clinics. It was nuts. It was nuts. It was a crazy time. Now, let me say this. I kind of got swept up in some of that. I did, all right? Now, I'll tell you this. I never screamed or yelled insults at girls. I never did that. It just didn't seem right. And I never, ever held up horrible pictures of babies. But I did go out to some clinics, and I would pray. I pray that would stop. I would go, and I would sing some songs, and I did yell some stuff out. I yelled stuff like this: please don't do this. And I was arrested twice and hauled off to jail for trying to block the door of a clinic. I did a lot of stuff. You know what I never did? I never asked one woman what her story was. I didn't even think of that. We didn't have a lot of money, all right? But I never offered even a little bit of money to buy diapers or baby food for a teenage girl who had no money to feed this baby on her way. I never, I had an extra bed, and we had a small house, but we had an extra bed. I never offered one of our empty beds to a girl who was afraid that if her parents or her boyfriend found out about her pregnancy, they would put her on the street. I didn't offer anything except advice and condemnation. I had a lot of that, which is really ironic, and here's why. Because I've shared this with you, so much of my life has been driven by shame and fear and insecurity over my past mistakes, all right? Yet never once did I take the grace and forgiveness that had been poured out on me from Jesus. Never once did I offer it to any girl in crisis and tell her, you don't have to be ashamed, you don't have to be afraid, and you don't have to be alone. I didn't offer to help her carry anything. I just told her, you're wrong, and you're about to commit a sin, a big one.